Sonlight, we like to make homeschooling your children easier by providing you with all the information you need to teach your child, whether you're very familiar with the subject or not at all. And the same is true of our unit studies. Back in 2020, we created our first Advent unit study to help you teach your children about why we celebrate Christmas, and also to perhaps establish some new Advent traditions in your own home. If you're unfamiliar with unit studies, all that is a deeper dive into a particular topic. Well, in 2020, we premiered our first Advent study with a new one following in 2021. And 2022 is no exception. We are thrilled to announce our third Advent unit study has hit the shelves, and that is Bartholomew's Passage. Now, if you've never done a Sonlight unit study, you can actually do them in any order. And if you've done the other two, you can do this one because it's totally unique as well. All of them share a similar format, but they all include different books and different activities, different verses, and all of that. So each year is a totally different experience. Let's take a peek inside this box to see what's included. Every single Sonlight Advent unit study comes in a box with all the required books and materials that you're going to need. When we peek inside Bartholomew's Passage, the brand new study, you'll see that we have this beautiful book, Bartholomew's Passage. Sonlight is a literature-based curriculum, meaning that we use beautiful living books as the foundation for all of our academic programs, and our unit studies are the same way. In Bartholomew's Passage, you will read a section every single day leading up to Christmas, and along the way, your child will learn Advent customs, and why we're celebrating the way we do. So you'll see week 1, the 4th Sunday before Christmas. So that's going to be your start of Advent. You'll read this first story, which happens to be about 4 to 6 pages long, and then you'll move on to the next activity. Then you'll see week 1, Monday, again, another passage. It also tells you which candle on your Advent wreath to light. So if you are unfamiliar with Advent, all of that information is included in this book. We also schedule this book daily for you in your instructor's guide. With Sonlight, all of our academic programs include instructor's guides that make it very clear and easy to teach. We do the same thing with our Advent unit studies. So inside, you'll see this is 3-hole punched, so you can pop it right into a binder, although some Sonlight families do prefer to spiral bind their instructor's guides. Inside, we have the schedule page. You'll see here's Bartholomew's Passage. It tells you exactly what to read, as well as giving you a scripture verse. All of that is in the notes. I'll show you that in a second. Then we have some optional activities down here at the bottom. So for the Bartholomew's Passage unit study, if you want to take your studies a step further, you can dive into a Christmas Carol. This is not included in this package, but it is a book that we sell at Sonlight, so you can add that on as an option if you would like to do the optional activities there. We also have craft and baking activities, and you can see there's recipes, there's ornaments, and different craft activities like an Advent wreath and an Advent calendar. Down at the bottom, you'll see exactly what's in your kit and anything else you might need to pick up. And then on the back of this page, you'll see more instructions. So this is the intro page that shows you simple ways to celebrate Advent. There's a QR code so you can put on some Advent music. And then you have all of your notes for your schedule. So it's going to tell you to light your wreath, read your scripture. We include several different translations throughout the guide, however you can read from any Bible you prefer. There's always a few discussion questions. And then if you're doing the optional reading, like a Christmas Carol and the craft of creating an Advent wreath, it tells you exactly what to do. And then on day 2, you'll do everything listed there. This continues on through the entirety of the Advent season until you arrive at Christmas Day. Now, if you're anything like me, I do not do craft activities unless they are super easy and I have all the materials on hand. This is something Sonlight does very well. In this bag, we have all of the craft supplies we're going to need for the ornaments and other crafts you're going to make. Here's our pipe cleaners, a cookie cutter, some bags that you'll use for one of the crafts, and Sonlight even includes recipe cards. So you can put your favorite recipes on here that you discover in the Advent study, or maybe some of your other favorite recipes and just write them down on the cards, and then you can put them in a recipe box if you have that at home. Now, we talked about optional readings. For the Bartholomew's Passage study, you have some optional books that you can read, and that is A Christmas Carol. So at Sonlight, we carry this one. This is the one that is scheduled in your guide as well. If you were to check out a different version, you may have different pages and the like, but you might still be able to use it. You can, however, pick up this book at sonlight.com. So here's A Christmas Carol. It's the full unabridged version. Very interesting perhaps for older students, but less so for younger ones. So we've given them an option as well with a picture book version of A Christmas Carol and much shorter paragraphs. So that way they can still hear the story without having to listen to the original book. We also carry this at Sonlight, and this is also scheduled in your guide. Plus there's optional activities like watching some of the movie versions of A Christmas Carol as well. So that is definitely something to check out. If you want to add on these optional materials, you can do that at sonlight.com. What is included in your box is all of the recipe cards, the craft materials, the instructor's guide, and the Bartholomew's Passage book. So head over to sonlight.com, search for Advent, and you can look at any of our Advent studies there.